Good evening. You're flying with Pod Squadron podcast. All wings report in. This is Andy, Pod Job standing by.
This is Tracy, Pod Tracer standing by.
All ships to attack formation. Mission objectives to talk about Star Wars and movies, streaming, animation, books, themed experiences, and your art and inspiration from a galaxy far, far away. Today's flight plan includes catching up with the Pod Squadron because it's been a while. A lot going on.
Wait, Lexi is on her way. Jason's in Disneyland, but Lexi's on her way, and we have Rodney here.
Hello.
So catching up with those of us who are here, of course, then we'll get into some of the Star Wars news of the last few months. Also breaking down the latest Ahsoka trailer because we are only 2 weeks away, I think, from Ahsoka making its premiere. And is that? I lost my place on the thing. And and then for all of you out there, of course, all comm channels are open. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Oh wait, there's no more Twitter. So much has changed in the time.
Oh, that's right, X.
Yeah, whatever for X. Screw X. Follow us on Threads. I don't think we're on Threads yet. Facebook and Instagram.
We are, because it tagged when I posted it. Okay, I did my first post on Threads for this, you guys.
Yeah, we are on Threads. Yeah.
Oh, good. And then you can find us, of course, on YouTube. Like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you know when we have new content. But first, I'll be your squad leader for today. I'm Andy Lowe, a.k.a. the Chinese Pirate, director, storyteller, puppeteer, performer, and fight choreographer. On my wing is Tracy.
You're our squad leader every day, Andy.
No.
Hi, it's Tracy, hot nerd girl. Hopefully my computer is fine because it was having some issues, so it's always good times. And yeah, a lot has changed. Oh, and I would like to point out that we 100% support the writers and actors strike, and we're avoiding certain topics, I think, I don't know, we're trying our best to kind of fit within those lines. So, yeah. What you doing, Andy?
And joining us later will be Lexi, who also known as the Feral Geek. Jason from at Beyond Forever Studios is actually at Disneyland today, so hope he's having a Ronto rat for me over there. And then, of course, from the flight deck, from the command ship, of course, is Rodney.
Hello, all. It's been a while, so I thought
And
I'd kind of join and help out since Jason is at Disneyland.
and do you wanna get into a little bit more detail?
Yeah, on the SAG strike. So yeah, we've talked a lot about this amongst Geekish Network, and I did a lot of research on what can and can't be talked about, as I guess we fall under the category of influencers, right? So first off, like Tracy said, we definitely want to say that we support the strikers. We support the writer, we support the GGA, we support the SAG, and as much as we possibly can. And we know a lot of people that are friends that are work for the Geekish Network are actually SAG and WGA, so they're on strike. The strike is affecting my day job as well, and is also in my night job, which is this. So it's definitely affecting a lot of people, but it's very, very worthy. It's needed. It's what it is. But SAG and WGA has put out a bunch of different guidelines based on what influencers can and can't do, and doing a lot of research and seeing what they're allowing and not allowing. We kind of fall under, even though we're kind of, we fall under news entertainment. So we can actually talk about stuff. We just can't actively promote these shows. So for instance,
Is that like news shows and The View and things like that?
yes.
Is what we fall
And
under?
criticism. So we fall under criticism, news entertainment. So, you're providing a service of saying like, hey, you can, watch this or watch this not because this is our opinion on if you should or shouldn't watch it. Right. So that's like a service. We're not necessarily promoting it. So the biggest no though is that you can't actually take money to promote something. Right. So, like if you get paid, so like Mr. Beast got kind of flack because he had already signed a contract to promote Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He made a post and people were saying, oh, he was scabbing, he was breaking the strike. And he's like,
Who
no,
was that?
Mr. Beast from YouTube.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Anyways, big YouTuber. He got into but he he stated, and then the SAG basically listed they have the big article on Variety that lists all the things you can and cannot do. So essentially, I mean, I don't want to take too much time of it, but we're safe in what we're doing. We're definitely going to try to not necessarily outright promote things and then talk about these, but we're also understand that we're part of news entertainment and criticism. So those are not against anything in what SAG doesn't want influencers to do. So I think we're good, but but also in the spirit of it, we'll try to avoid certain things like really fully promoting, work that is being struck. Yes.
And the other thing I think anyone should take to heart, right, is that what we love are the stories and the performances, the content that is created by the creatives who write the stories, who perform them, the artistry involved. We do not support the studios that are not necessarily being the fairest with the creatives who create the work. So please take it all as praise for the creatives we love, and not as promotion for studios that exploit them. So
and the SAG and WGA have also even said they're not boycotting. They're not calling for a boycott of films or TV. Like they still want people to watch TV. They still want to watch. They still want people to go to the movie theaters and watch these films. They're just striking for, like Andy said, a very fair deal. And as we can see, as you can tell, if you're following it at all, it's like a really critical strike, not just in entertainment, but I think like in all industries, because the inequalities right now between the corporations and the working class are, at an all-time high. And this is kind of like,
Dare I say a rebellion?
it really is. They are the
I
empire.
still haven't posted my pictures from Comic-Con yet because I feel weird about it. Like my
Yeah.
photo op stuff, like I feel weird about it, so I haven't posted it yet.
Yeah, and that's what's so interesting because they were kind of vague, right? They were very vague about what you could and couldn't do. There's some YouTubers and some podcasts that are saying, hey, in a sign of 100% solidarity, we're not even going to cover anything. So they're like, react shows are actually doing cooking shows, like they're pivoting. So, obviously we're not going to, I don't think we're going to take it that far, but we also do want to be cognizant. And then, but yeah, it is kind of unclear, but I think the cosplaying is fine. It's fair game. It's like you're celebrating the culture. You're celebrating this thing. So like, a lot of people at Comic-Con, they did quite a bit, right? So
Yeah, but most of the people who were like SAG people did not cosplay current productions. Like they were
Yeah.
doing, older stuff or just stuff that wasn't currently in production. I know I talked to Todd Stashwick at Comic-Con, who's in the 3rd season of Picard, and he was saying that they actually went to Star Trek Las Vegas because SAG figured out a deal with Creation Net, who does that convention, because they were already contracted, and a lot of people were gonna be kind of screwed over, a lot of vendors and things like that, if they if the actors weren't there. So they figured something out. I don't know. And so most of the actors were
Yeah. And yeah, they did.
there. Whereas
I
they
did
weren't
read,
at Comic-Con.
yeah.
Really.
And I did read that they did make a deal with LA Comic-Con that
Oh,
allows
really?
to, yeah.
So
Sean
only
asked-
San Diego Comic-Con got screwed over.
Well, the timing of it, yeah, we were talking about that. The timing of it was they went on strike, and then San Diego Comic-Con was like a week later, right? So they couldn't figure
Which
out.
honestly, Comic-Con didn't feel that different to me.
Yeah. We couldn't figure out a deal. They probably can. So I think with LA Comic-Con, which is going to be in December, and hope to God, the strike is over by then. But they did strike a deal with SAG, saying, okay, here we can let actors go to LA Comic-Con to promote their sales and all these different things, right? So it's going to be interesting. We're going to play it by ear. I mean, if there are any other new guidelines that come out, from SAG and WGA saying like, hey, these are certain things you can and cannot do. And if it changes that at all, and if we, and then we'll also be cognizant to the audience as well. But we also felt like, Ahsoka's coming out, and it's not necessarily promoting, but it's something we should definitely cover because it's, we're fans, and it's
Just don't want to piss off the nanny.
exactly right. So, anything trying to go, but yeah, that's pretty much anything else that you wanted to add, Andy or Tracy, to like kind of about that?
No, I think we've covered it. Yeah.
Cool.
Great. All right. Well, with that, let's get into it. There has been a lot that has happened, but of course, the biggest news, of course, is that Ahsoka is coming up very soon, and they've been dripping out a lot of great trailers and images. I think Rodney has shared with us the new character posters. I don't know. Are you sharing those over?
I'm gonna I will try.
Okay.
Say, yeah. Real quick before we do that, like, you want to talk about what you guys have been up to over
Sure.
since we last convened? Like, any cool things happen? It's been a while. I mean, Twitter used to be Twitter, and now it's X. Like, I mean, it's been a while. Right? Whole social media.
Yeah.
What have you guys been up to?
Andy, you want to go for
I don't
so
know.
I feel like things have changed, and yet I'm like, well, I'm farming, like like the same old things. My boyfriend built out a camper van. I'm getting ready to
Oh, that's
redo my front
exciting.
yard, guys. Woohoo! Drought tolerant. Woo!
Wait, are you renovating a camper van, or are you creating a camper van out of something else?
No, he bought a ProMaster, a Dodge Ram ProMaster,
Cool.
right? And I thought I was going to be helping him with a lot more. And then he just sort of does things on his own. And when I'm working, and all I get called in to do is help lift up heavy things. But it's pretty much done now, except for like the kitchenette. So
That's exciting.
yeah,
What's do you have a trip planned? A christening, so to speak?
he's on his first trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's doing a photo thing. Yep, on his first
Very
trip.
cool.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Excellent.
But
Yeah, I
what
don't
have you been
have
up
a
to?
whole lot to report. I mean, okay, I did. Oh, well, okay. So I did go to Hawaii for the first time. Spent 10 days in Maui for my best friend from since high school's wedding. But
Oh,
and also just did all the Maui things. Saw sharks, saw crabs and turtles and things and
That's
all the
awesome.
things. Yeah, it was
all the
great.
things.
Yeah, and then I was in San Diego for a week. Always a combination of nerd stuff and go getting my favorite taco.
Oh my gosh, hanging out with Andy at Comic-Con is like herding cats. He's just like, I'll just go over here on my own way by myself, and we're just like, where'd Andy go? And we're just like, I don't know. He's like, I'm hanging out with these other friends that I saw, and I'm like, okay.
I mean,
Bye.
to be fair, you guys also like end up in like hour-long conversations with friends that you don't see only at con too.
That's true. That's true. I try really hard to only do that like once per person. And actually, this time it was more the other people in the group as opposed to me. To be
Sure,
fair,
yeah.
usually it's me that's the problem. I will fully admit that. But this time it was not. And this is the first convention in a really long time that I haven't run into my stalker.
Oh.
So that was a win.
I gotta say, I mean, this was probably my most social con because I usually like just blend into the crowd and disappear and go look at stuff. But I did like, meet with various peoples from various parts of my life at least once each day, which was.
Look at you letting down your luxurious locks.
What do you mean?
Wait, we have threads now, right? We have threads. Twitter is X. Elon wants to have a cockfight with Mark Zuckerberg. What else we got? What else we got?
We have strikes. We have
We have the strike.
we
Like
have-
he literally wanted to compare penis sizes, right? Wasn't that one of his things?
There are 4 indictments now, or is there the 5th one happened yet?
Oh, something like that. 800,327.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
But you guys, he's getting indicted for us. Because all he does is think about other people.
But now we
Hey,
have
Lexi.
Lexi, just in time. Can Lexi be heard? Can we hear Lexi?
Nope.
We cannot
Nope.
hear Lexi. Curse
Ah!
it! Ooh, we should
First
like
time
dub
back technical
Lexi.
problems.
Lexi, talk, and then we'll like talk for you. We'll pretend like we're saying what you're
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Hey, oh,
What?
oh, boop. Pursed lips. I can voice the dog. Woof. Well, okay. Well, Lexi figures
She's
out.
not saying anything. I
her
can't do
mic.
it because she's not saying anything.
How about you, Rodney? What's been new for you?
Man, just working.
Yeah.
Obviously navigating the strikes. Like I said in the thing, there've been several layoffs because of the environment. And then the strikes happened, and then it became even more layoffs. So
Yeesh.
navigating that, and then just keep my head down, just trying to work. Obviously, I couldn't make it to San Diego Comic-Con because of work.
Please
a
don't
lot
lay
of
me
different
off.
things.
Please don't lay me off. Please don't lay me off.
Exactly. So one of those, like, I'm not asking for anything. I'm not taking any days off because, but we'll see. You'll see how it goes.
I mean,
It's nothing I
that
can
said,
control. So
that said, for those of you who are in the industry, there are a number of relief and grant programs that you should definitely do some research into. And that's the thing; people always just kind of don't think to look into them.
Yeah.
And even if you're not like hurting yet, I think there is no shame in getting the assistance now that can stretch when things start getting tight. So
How much longer do you think this is going to be going on?
I've heard like October.
Yeah, projecting to the fall. And the AMPT has not shown any interest in coming back to the table. I mean, that's a crazy thing, right?
They're just not even talking.
They're not even talking. And when you see the studios are doing stuff like taking content that was created for streaming platforms and putting on broadcast, putting it up on ABC, and it's a thing where the creatives who worked on those projects, the contracts were specifically for streaming. So some of these writers don't even, like the writers from Yellowstone don't even know if they're going to get paid for a broadcast run because there are no definitions for broadcast on this content.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy. So.
Well, and a big part of it is AI, right? That's another thing that's kind of come to the forefront since we've been on hiatus is AI. And we were hearing stories at Comic-Con about, like people who were doing like extra work and then, they would get scanned and it's like, hey, and then after they were scanned, it was like, hey, congratulations, you're going to be on all these Disney shows and you don't even have to come in. Isn't that great? And it's like, no, that's not great. Like, it's like a one-time $30 fee and then you don't ever work. So it's kind of terrible.
Actually, it's funny. There are a couple of clips I've seen online where people have caught the digital extras to do crowdfunding.
And they look awful.
And it's like literally looks like a video game bot, like an NPC.
Yeah.
That's like.
Yeah, and they're like clapping with their feet. Yeah. It's weird, and they have like 3 eyeballs and stuff. Yeah.
It's hysterical.
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting because I think it's going to be a seismic shift. I don't think the streamers are sustainable. I think the streamer wars definitely made a lot of work for a lot of people, but they're not. No one's making. No one's really making money. They're supposedly losing a lot of money. But it's like a mess they created, right? And it's.
Well, it's the thing where ultimately the streaming executives have basically trained an audience to want free content, right? Mm-hmm. And so the rates for streaming are too low, and they're not gonna, get high enough to actually pay for the amount of content.
But then you have to have 8 streaming services, and that turns out to be more than cable.
Well, I mean. And that's the thing. It's none of it is sustainable, right? I mean, most of these executives have gone for volume of content, so they keep saying we have all of these brands, we have all of these shows, and using that as the carrot to lure people for subscribers. But of course, the subscriber revenue has never been enough to cover the development of these shows. So now that as time has gone on and they've had to make cutbacks, and you are seeing the decrease in quality. I mean, everyone's been talking about how kind of all of Marvel Phase 4 has been kind of a crapshoot, because
some Star Wars too,
Yeah, you're seeing the decrease in quality in special effects. You're seeing, big holes in the writing. I think Secret Invasion is now officially the lowest rated show in Marvel history, with like certified rotten.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've heard it's pretty bad.
Yeah. And it's bizarre because honestly, like all the actors are great and they do great.
Yeah.
Like, there's honestly individual scenes. There are some great individual scenes, but if you look at that scene within the context of the overall story and the arc, there's like the pacing, the story, like nothing makes sense.
It doesn't quite fit in. It doesn't quite fit in the timeline. It's like, I don't know. It feels
You're telling me the president got shot and they bring him to a hospital and there's no one there? It's like it's so obviously cheaply done.
Well, I mean, I did enjoy it. I didn't like the roadie thing. That bothered me. But the scenes between Samuel L. Jackson and I can't think of his name right now.
Charlene Woodard. Oh no, you're talking about Talos, right? You're talking about
Yeah. I mean, those are just
Charlene,
two.
yeah.
He really chews the scenery that guy.
Yeah.
But he
Oh, and the
I don't know.
actress who's the British operative, she was killing it.
Yeah. Oh, Olivia. Oh, she is so good at every single thing she does, and she doesn't rehearse or anything. She just like shows up on the set and just like fucking wings it, and she is so brilliant and hilarious, and I just love her so much.
I mean, even like like the story of Fury and his wife is like really poorly executed, but every scene between him and Charlene Woodard crackles, right? It's like all this stuff you're saying doesn't make any sense in terms of the timeline of the story, and it's like just slow. But like your chemistry is great. It's all awesome. It's just like why?
And I liked what's her name? Game of Thrones gal.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy who was in the new Ken movie, who was like the main bad guy. I mean, he's a great
that took
actor.
me a second when I saw Barbie and I was like, wait, is that graphic?
Well, and another Ken is the new doctor.
Right. Oh, really?
They had a bunch of the cast from Sex Education on there. Like the brunette Barbie, who is like a Nobel Prize winner. She's the star, and when she's blonde, she gets compared to Margot Robbie a lot.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
so, and I don't know if there's like some kind of relationship between like one of the directors or producers, but so the two of them, they were from. And the guy at Mattel who originally tips him off. He's working the cubicle, and then he's along with the corporate people on the whole trip. He's also from Sex Education.
Huh.
So, but who's 14?
Well, shall we give up on Lexi and continue on?
Oh no, she just popped in. She's here.
Where?
I see her thumbnail.
Oh. Alas, I do not see her.
Oh. I see you, Lexi.
Okay, let's get into Ahsoka here.
Oh, nope, we can't hear you. You might just have to use the computer audio instead of the microphone. Oh no, she's
like she's still connecting, yeah.
Oh no.
So let's get into Ahsoka here.
Oh my god. Welcome back. It's a cluster. Is this Ray Stevenson in the poster for Ahsoka?
I'm sorry, say again?
Is that Ray Stevenson in the poster for Ahsoka?
Oh,
yeah, that's him, right? That's another piece.
Balin, I don't have all the character names on me.
But he's another one that he passed away since we've been on.
It's Ray Stevenson.
Yes.
As Balin.
Yeah, isn't that what I said?
Balin Skull is the name I was trying to find.
So that was very sad. As a Thor fanatic, that was really sad for me.
I rewatched Rome recently because of that.
You rewatched what?
Rome. I think that was the first thing he was in that became really, really popular. And I rewatched Rome because, wanted to revisit his big time character, Pulo. He's basically one of the main characters of Rome. So, and he's amazing in it. But yes, R.I.P. Ray Stevenson.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of buzz over his character, along with Ivana Sakno's character Shinhati, as the two kind of dark Jedi of this that we've been seeing in the trailers. Both of them carrying orange not red, orange lightsabers, which Filoni has been teasing as an important detail as to who they are and what their origins are, which is very interesting. Also of note is that their names, right? The what is it? Hati and Skull are references to wolves
Oh,
in Norse mythology that are harbingers of the apocalypse. Is that right, Tracy?
that sounds about right.
Um, and of course, we know Dave Filoni loves him some wolves. Let's see here. We also have very centrally featured Diana Inosanto, who returns as my notes are
Magistrate.
shambled.
The one that Ahsoka had the
Morgan
rad
Elsbeth.
fight with.
Yeah.
Had the rad fight with on the bridge, and then they took her
Staff.
spear, her staff thingy, and that's what the Mandalorian Din Djarin used against Carlos Espinito, whatever his name is. I'm so out of
It's been a
breath with you
while.
guys. This is terrible.
Just struggling through this. The thing with the stuff. It's cool. Diana Lee Inosanto, of course, we've talked about her before. She is the goddaughter of Bruce Lee and the daughter of Dan Inosanto, who was one of the co-creators of Jeet Kune Do along with Bruce Lee. She's also a very talented and accomplished stunt person and actor in her own right. But the other interesting thing is, of course, so we see this poster of her, but in the trailer, people have been spotting that she does something with her hands that seems to open up a big map, like 3D projection, like hologram map around them, and people are kind of spotting what looks like a little green flame at the bottom of the screen. That some people are wondering if that's a confirmation that she is a former Night Sister, because that was a big rumor back when she first made her first appearance, that people saw the little bit of a hint of a tattoo underneath her hairline, which could be similar to the
Right yonder.
the tattoos that the Night Sisters have. And there, of course, were plot points saying that she was like the last survivor of a race that the Empire had massacred. And so if she does wear red costume robes, so that could be a cool little callback there. The other kind of cool thing I will mention, they did have a number of props on display for Ahsoka at Comic-Con at the Lucasfilm booth. So, for those of us who were there, we got to see a little close-up look of the lightsabers for Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati, as well as Ahsoka's sabers. They are so small, much smaller than I thought they'd be.
That's what she said.
Hi, hello. But we also saw a lightsaber, of course, that we see in the trailer, well wielded by Sabine Wren, a green lightsaber. And I was very surprised when I looked at the prop that the little label actually did label it as Sabine Wren's lightsaber.
That feels like a spoiler.
Ezra's lightsaber, not
Yeah.
Kanan's lightsaber. That is Sabine's lightsaber, and maybe whether or not it is made from parts or bits and pieces of Kanan or Ezra's, it's hers. And that's, as you say, Tracy, it feels kind of spoilery.
Well, it's right on the poster too.
Yeah. I mean, we see her ignite it, and of course we know she trained with the Darksaber. And there is that shot of Shin Hati saying, "You have no power," but we don't know if she's really talking to her. But there is also a little bit of a name drop there where, and of course, we're already kind of into spoiler territory, but it's in the trailer where she refers to Ahsoka as Master. The details of that, who knows, right?
We'll find out. I feel like there's so much speculation, even when trailers come out. Like I got torn apart for posting the Picard season 3 poster and identifying it as Data instead of Lore, and I got ripped a new asshole. And I actually had to block some people who were being like super mean. And then it turned out to be basically be Data assholes. Like, so I feel like you have to like kind of take all these things, like they, especially when it comes to Dave Filoni, like he likes to kind of stir. Boobs just popped up behind you for a split second, Andy. Anyways,
I saw a person.
Boobs.
I saw
Okay.
a person, not boobs, but I did see a person.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Dave Filoni likes to be kind of like a little teaser. You know, he likes to stir the pot. He likes to, you know, throw red herrings out there. So I feel like anything we see that in the previews, like we have to kind of take with a grain of salt, because
That is true.
with a grain of kyber crystal, because, you know, I think, you know, things could even be one way in the first episode and then be completely different and flipped on their head in the second episode. So I think we just got to be, I mean, we have to speculate. It's like our job being here, but you know, we got to be a little careful about that. Oh, everybody's typing. And nobody's all right.
So Lexi's still dealing with some tech issues, but we'll keep trying.
Sorry. Yeah. Yes. A pinch of crate, shall we say? Planet Crate. That was a reference. Sorry. Okay. But yeah. What do you think? Do you think? What's your percentage over under on whether or not Sabine is force sensitive?
Well, I mean, I think it's hinted at throughout Rebels, right? That she is.
I mean, they don't really, because I mean, he only really trains her for the Darksaber as a Mandalorian, not as a Jedi.
I mean, nope. Peter says 0%.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and this is where like I go back into like Force Awakens territory,
right?
and like the disservice to Finn, because it looked like Finn was wielding a lightsaber, and it looked like
in a
he was gonna
poster
be,
with a lightsaber,
right? Yeah. And so it's like, that's why I'm saying, like it's tough. You got to be careful, and I feel like they're gonna reveal stuff over the course of like even the first few episodes that is gonna make so many things come clear, and like I almost like don't want to be like I almost said videotaped, you guys. I don't want to be recorded. Like saying like, oh yeah, she's definitely gonna be like the kid in the stables who just like moved the broom on his own, you know. I feel like, you know, she could be like a Finn, she could be like a Rey, I don't know, like I'm waiting to see.
Still nothing, guys.
Hey!
Oh, I had to switch to the MacBook speakers, and it's just I don't know, my mic's being super weird. Like if I like snap or clap, it shows me that it's got sound, and then when I talk, it does nothing. So it's just I don't know what's going on with that. I gotta play with it a little more.
Well, you're here now, so we're
here now.
I made it.
And as
So
our
welcome to the
resident
conversation,
Rebels and expert, what do you think? Dennis is saying that he's saying that didn't they specify that she wasn't in Rebels?
I've been jumping on and off, so I
So we're talking about the Ahsoka trailer. We're also talking about the Ahsoka posters. We've talked a little bit about our two dark Jedi characters and their strangely orange lightsabers. We've talked a little about Morgan Elsbeth, the magistrate who returns, and her possibly being a Night Sister, because we see the little green flame under her hands. We've also talked about Sabine and the teases in the trailer. Well, one, that she is wielding her own lightsaber, and that seems to be confirmed by at Comic-Con. When you look at the prop, it is labeled as Sabine's lightsaber, not Ezra's, not Kanan's. And she does refer to Ahsoka as Master.
See, even that prop could have been a red herring by Dave Filoni. We don't know.
So what do you think? Red herring, or is she possibly? What do you think the percentage possibility that she is indeed force sensitive?
I think that there's a good chance she is, because it might set, I don't know, it would be very interesting to set the precedent before Grogu for
For Ahsoka.
Mandalorian Jedi.
Oh, I see.
And that could be something kind of fun that Dave Filoni wants to do. It could also be, hopefully in the development, his response to people being so disappointed by Finn, giving a little well-deserved fan service of like, let's not fake people out again. Yeah, but
it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's really interesting, because I didn't know. The one thing I did catch when I was hopping on and off trying to fix the mic was that you'd mentioned that at Comic-Con the prop was listed as her lightsaber. So
yeah.
It seems like it'd be a really massive bait and switch to not have her have some kind of force sensitivity, especially when she's calling Ahsoka master. That and the fact
so that's the thing, of course, if she is not force sensitive, then what is the relation, what is that trainer-trainee relationship with Ahsoka? Like,
the only
there
other
is actually a more recent spot that they released that where they take some a narration from Yoda from one of his older speeches about masters and apprentices, and they go through and show every master apprentice relationship throughout Star Wars, and kind of also tease us with this strained relationship between Ahsoka and Sabine.
I think there's also something to the fact that, like, Ahsoka's biggest catchphrase is "I am no Jedi."
Yeah.
So Sabine's training could be incredibly non-traditional.
True.
She might be saying it sarcastically too, like, or I just watched Pride and Prejudice and watched the scene between Darcy and Billings, whatever his name is, where he's like practicing proposing. Maybe they're like having, recreating a conversation or something, and they just took that soundbite.
So there was another interesting soundbite they have where Ahsoka is talking. She says, I think it's Hera asks her about Anakin, and she says she left her master much in the same way as she left Sabine.
Interesting. Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of directions they could take that.
Yeah,
all of them would be interesting, every single one.
And of course, we do not have the answers, but it's fun to speculate. It's fun to wonder.
I didn't. That was a piece of information I didn't have.
I do want to mention, though, you did mention like the catchphrase of Ahsoka has been, "I am no Jedi," and they do something They do have a moment where Baylan Skoll does get in the face of some rebel or not, I guess they're not rebel, Republic person, and basically says, "We are no Jedi," in almost kind of in a defiant battle cry kind of way. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of mirror darkly Ahsoka's path as well.
I want to know what the orange lightsabers are about. That's something else. Speaking of lightsabers.
Oh, that's true. There was also one other lightsaber I saw on display at the Lucasfilm booth. They had the Inquisitor's saber, double-bladed saber, for the masked Inquisitor that we see in the trailer, that is now being named as Mark, Marrok. A lot of speculation about people wondering who that character is, because if they got a mask, it's gotta be a mystery.
It's gonna be a reveal if there's a mask, probably. Good odds for that. So, especially since we know that, they're not they're not Sith at this point, are they? Or are they still Sith? It's just dark, but dark side in general, they tend to take on another name. So except for I guess Asajj Ventress, but that's anyway, whatever.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Because technically there are no Sith, because
Yeah.
in theory the Sith died with Palpatine and Vader.
Palpatine, right? Yeah. So is this Birth of the First Order that we're seeing, or what?
Well, okay, so Marek is an Inquisitor, and of course this is after the Empire. So presumably this is an Inquisitor that has gone into bounty hunting or something, maybe gone independent. Who knows?
Domino Harvey. Sorry.
And then of course, who know? You know, there's a lot of interesting. You know, they do tease with Ray Stevenson's character commenting that he did know Anakin at one point in time. So is he truly a dark Jedi instead of a Sith? There's also a great shot that I think I posted on social media where they show Shinhati piloting a ship, and she's wearing the same headset that Anakin wears when he's on a Jedi starfighter from Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, Peter asked about that. He said, did Shin's saber look familiar as well?
Shin's lightsaber?
That's what he's asking.
I mean, it didn't look familiar to me. Like, I don't know. But
yeah.
I know this isn't something like we've been talking about, but I just kind of gotta like toss it in there because I was emotionally compromised by Good Omens yesterday. We have David Tennant, so in this
yes,
makes me very excited. All right,
well, you know what? Let's take advantage of that. Let's jump around a little bit and just talk about who else we know in this cast. We've talked about the folks in the posters, but it has also been confirmed, yes, that David Tennant is in this. And you want to talk about the character he's playing?
I don't know very much. I just literally, like, when I saw that, I was like, oh wait, we got David Tennant, that's cool. And then my second thought was, oh, I hope they let him be Scottish, even though they probably won't. I love his Scottish.
So David Tennant is confirmed to be reprising his character from the Clone Wars. If you remember the episodes where all the younglings go to Ilum to build their lightsabers, he was Professor Hu Yang, the weird droid with the little pointy head.
So it's just going to be his voice?
Yeah, so he is Hu Yang once again, probably knowing with the schematics of every lightsaber throughout history.
That is such a great episode.
That's awesome.
That episode. It's cute.
And of course, Professor instead of Doctor, and Hu Yang instead of Who, which is let's see here. Genevieve O'Reilly is confirmed to be at least doing some cameo work once again as Mon Mothma, which is exciting. We see her doing a little bit of a face-off against Hera Syndulla, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who, if you don't know, is the wife of Ewan McGregor.
Making it a family affair.
Indeed. Let's see here.
What else you got, Andy?
Say it.
What else you got?
Well, of course, Rosario Dawson returns as Ahsoka Tano. We've been talking about Sabine Wren, played by Natasha Liu Bordizzo. Hayden Christensen is confirmed to be making appearances, whether as Anakin or Vader or flashback or Force Ghost, we do not know. But it does make it interesting for Ray Stevenson to name drop Anakin.
I love that. I really do love that they've been bringing him back in.
I think it'll be flashbacks.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen anything recent, but I do remember a while back them announcing a casting for a young teenage Ahsoka as well. So yeah, I think you're right that we'll get some flashbacks, at least to kind of establish the character for the people who have not watched the Clone Wars.
I'm trying to find on IMDb if he's listed as Anakin or Darth Vader.
He is listed as Anakin Skywalker.
That's
but of course, that's IMDb. So who knows?
I mean, flashback.
Crowdsourced.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's accurate, then flashbacks are probably a good bet. If
We
that's
also get a quick shot of Iman Esfandi as Ezra Bridger. It's a very small shot, and he's a hologram, but he looks pretty great. He sounds pretty great too. He's doing the voice. And then of course we have had a couple of shots of Lars Mikkelsen as Thrawn, and that's actually something I'm very excited for.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, like evil Sherlock Holmes, but he's blue and has red eyes and is an Imperial. That's Thrawn basically.
And I know the books are no longer canon, but they are still so worth a read if you want to get the Zahn books are still such a good read if you want to get some Thrawn lore before Ahsoka comes out.
Did you guys see the little head next to Hera in the co-pilot chair? Or is Peter seeing things?
I have seen other people pointing out the little head. Of course, we can't see what color the hair is, but yeah, I think that's a pretty good tease.
Listen, they're gonna bring in the kid. Yeah,
they got to bring in the kid.
I'm you know what I'm kind of hoping for? I'm hoping for like some surprise. I mean I know that's a big hope, but I'm kind of hoping for a surprise. We haven't told you he's in this flashbacks Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
You know, I am hopeful too, but I know that he has been so adamantly, he is so over Star Wars fans. He's like, nope, I'm dead. I'm not coming back to this, and the fans suck.
That's fair. That's fair. I've like seen some interviews with him, and he's so passionate about Star Wars and so over the fans. Also, I think I don't know if I am misremembering this, but I seem to also remember that he said something about like how he felt like if they brought Kanan up again, it would lessen the impact of his death. So
yeah.
And
I respect that, right? I respect like
I do too. I definitely do.
you know,
it'd be cool to see him, but I could understand if that's not a direction that they went in.
But they could cast somebody else. It doesn't have to be Freddie Prinze Jr.
No, it doesn't.
I mean,
have to be.
no, but I mean,
but I don't know.
It would be weird. I'm not saying it wouldn't be weird, but
I mean, that said, yeah, it's like, I mean, in terms of this Rebels crew, who isn't recast? Like,
wait, is Sabine? Is she the one who did the voice?
She is not. She is a new actress, of course. Hera is not, who was the voice actress.
Yeah.
So like the characters.
Rosario Dawson is not Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah.
What? No.
So really, in terms of bringing them from live action or animation to live action, it's just Bo-Katan, Thrawn. Well, I mean, and Zeb.
Okay.
Because we've seen
but he's
Zeb
mostly
in
computer
Mandalorian.
generated.
Right.
Yeah, we saw.
It's David Tennant and
That's right.
Lars Mikkelsen. That's it.
Yes.
It's.
We haven't seen Zeb in a trailer, but I can't imagine they're not going to bring. They got to bring Zeb.
He was in The Mandalorian.
They teased him in Mando, so they better.
How about Rex? You think we're going to see Rex?
Oh,
yes,
that would be interesting. Yeah, I hope we see Rex. I hope we see Rex.
He's just there. He's sitting in a hot tub in New Zealand. Wait for the call.
Back to take in New Zealand? No.
Yeah, so okay, a lot of exciting things. And again, the show will premiere in a couple weeks, so we'll cover more of that as it comes. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we move on? Okay.
No,
we're good. I mean, we covered a lot. I didn't get to see any of the things at Comic-Con because I'm out here in Colorado, and
I will say, actually, it was really cool. They did have they did bring a mock-up or maybe like a set piece that was the wall mural of the Ghost crew, which was very cute.
Yeah, I saw. I'd only seen that in pictures, but I liked what they did with it. I mean, I was gonna mention just now that I saw some people complaining, but that's not really any news because everybody always complains. So there's always somebody who's bitching and moaning about, oh, it's not, doesn't match my personal fanfic in my head. So no, but I liked what they did with it. I liked what they did with it, and yeah, I do hope we get Zeb and Rex. I can't imagine that they wouldn't have Zeb because they already did all that work to animate him. So like,
do you know what an irrational want that I have? I want to see Chopper when he gets really excited and starts like unicycling it on one wheel with the two big legs just kind of flailing behind him.
popping.
You know how you would do that, and it's like that's something like you say to yourself, you can only get away with that in animation, but it's such a funny look. It's such a great gag, and I'm like, can you do it? Can you make it work? Because if you can make it work, it'd probably be pretty great. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much he uses his rocket jet.
Should take bets on how many people Chopper kills in
Yeah,
the series.
seriously.
I think Chopper's got one of the highest kill
Sociopathic
counts.
droid.
He's got one of the highest kill counts in the.
Yeah, I've been rewatching through Rebels, and I've been trying to track that as well. And yeah, it's like it goes very quickly from like 7 in season 1 to like over 5,000 in season 2. It's like oh wow. But still, like like one of the best ones is like when he just straight up cold just bitch slaps another droid and knocks him out of the ship. It's like they kidnap some Imperial droid and they're like, hey, he's actually really helpful, he's really nice, and like Chopper's like smack, and he just goes flying out the ship.
Not in my house.
There can only be one.
Chopper's a
And he
Sith
will
droid. What? No. Well, no.
Okay,
He would have been able to have two. He didn't want an apprentice.
Yeah, I like Chopper. Okay, moving on. So quick little bits. Not exactly confirmed from Lucasfilm, but there was a sound bite from Donald Glover that he is working on Lando now with his writing partner, his brother Stephen Glover. The two of them developed and write on Atlanta, but apparently they are now working on the Lando series.
Okay, but is Bob Iger actually gonna let it go forward?
I mean, that's a good question too. I don't know. Lucasfilm hasn't responded on talked about this. Justin Simeon apparently heard about this from social media. So he was kind of shocked to find out that he wasn't working on it anymore.
Awkward.
He's like, eek,
True.
what is going on?
That's weird. That.
Let's see here. We also have a number of Emmy nominations for Star Wars projects. There have been Emmy nominations for Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and The Mandalorian. Andor earned an outstanding drama series category, and Obi-Wan got a nod for best outstanding limited series.
That's cool.
22 nominations for The Mandalorian, 8 for Andor. 22 total. 9 for Mandalorian, 8 for Andor, 5 for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And, 2 nominations for music for Andor, totally earned.
Yeah.
For Nicholas Britell.
Yeah, that would stand out for me.
A bunch of them for costumes and effects. But Andor also getting a writing nomination for One Way Out, which that's great.
They should, yeah. I hope they win that one. I mean, I'm sure there's other great nominees, but I really hope they get that one. That was such a good episode.
Yeah.
And I still want to know what happens to Kino Loy.
There have been rumors that they've seen him on set when they were shooting season 2, they did see him on set. Who knows if he was directing or if he was just visiting or if he is reprising. But he was on set, so fingers crossed.
It's the thing about Andy Serkis. He's so multi-talented. You're like, what are you doing on set? Could be a lot of things.
He could just be wearing ping pong balls, you know. Pedro Pascal did not get any nominations for this. However, he did get 3 nominations for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series for Last of Us, for Guest Actor for Saturday Night Live, because honestly, that was probably one of the best recent Saturday Night Live episodes.
The Latin mom thing.
Oh my God, the Mexican mom was great.
Oh my God. Oh, that just, I can't even. Growing up with basically a second mother who was from Mexico, I was like cry laughing the whole time through that sketch. Yeah.
There's also Sheila from Temecula, which was like it was just a joy watching them all lose their shit.
So good. It was so good. Yeah. Well, I'm glad he got nominated for something. I wonder if he didn't get nominated for Mandalorian because
he was never there.
Because he was just basically just voice acting for it this time for this season?
I mean, apparently he did do some time on set, but
just
yeah,
less.
There definitely was like apparently. So there are rumors that people have attested to that they did film a kissing scene with him and Bo-Katan. It was just not included in the final edit, which I'm like, why didn't you include the final edit?
Oh no! Now I'm jealous of
his red herrings.
What?
But, yes,
Are we sure that wasn't just Katie like being like, can we please just film this? We don't have to use it. Can we pretend that this is going to be a thing?
I would have done that. No, if I were
I mean,
from
like,
either side, you're winning either way.
Yeah.
I mean,
kind of like Margot Robbie in Babylon being like, can we have this scene where my character kisses Brad Pitt? And apparently it got done. So they're like, yeah, I think we can work that out. Wait a minute, you just want to kiss Brad Pitt? And she was like, like, tell me. But no, I mean, that would. They're already acting like parents to Grogu. They might as well.
Yeah.
We'll find out if Mandalorians clank, I guess.
Yeah, if they get married, can they see each other's faces or whatever Mandalorians do? Or like, are they allowed to see each other's faces then?
Well, I mean, and so this is the other thing too.
Like
They gotta have all the lights off. They gotta have all the lights off.
I mean, there are other rumors right now, particularly with the strike in play and how that's going to delay things. There is talks that Mandalorian season 4 will become a film instead of a season.
I have no idea how to feel about that.
Which is interesting, right? Particularly as so many of these shows, one of the complaints has been, the pacing across the season, the amount of story that they have to tell. So, if Mandalorian 4 becomes a season.
Sorry, Dennis said holes in the armor, like glory holes in the armor.
They've got a flap.
Yeah, how does that work, right?
Well, they're allowed to take the armor off, just not the helmet, right? So
true.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So they could all just be into kink and like masks and shit. I don't know. But if there's but that would be interesting, because if there was a kiss film, then that has a lot of implications of either it being allowed for Mandalorian couples to see each other's faces, that being an exception, or that Din Djarin decides, you know what, I've already played fast and loose enough already. We already have this. We already have of Mandalorians to take their helmets off.
Well, at the risk of being too imaginative, there are certain positions where you don't have to see each other's faces.
Yeah, like I said, they could just have the lights on.
Yeah.
But
If you
But
do
I'm
doggy
saying-
style, do you get a
That's-
treat?
that's-
wouldn't be
That's
able
what
to
I'm
see them.
saying.
Right.
Do doggy style. You don't have to look at
If
each
you do
other's
doggy
face.
style, do you get a treat?
And you,
That's what I want to know. If I will say, if you're a
Actually, would it be- would it-
butterface,
it's-
if you're a
it's-
butterface, then Mandalorian is the life for you.
like, so for
True.
you.
It's
Yeah,
true.
Actually,
you get all built and shit, and then you know we gotta see your face.
It's
but
Star
it
Wars,
also
so is it Mastiff style?
so it could be really interesting implications where we've talked about how his and Grogu's relationship has kind of changed what his concept of the way is supposed to be. So if there is a kissing scene with Bo-Katan, then you could have that being an extension of him going, you know what, I'm defining my own way and I'm gonna kiss this woman. So
Plus, the armor
She
is they're
deserves it.
lightening up. I feel like a little bit.
because she deserves it for saving him so many times.
Right, because the armor is choosing unity of the
Mhm.
Mandalorian people over the way, right?
Or the unity is the
Creed.
way. Unity is the way.
I mean, they obviously reproduce. We saw Ragnarok, right? Wasn't that his name? Ragnarok?
Close
the kid?
I think it was just Ragnar.
Ragnar, that's
what
it.
was the name, yeah.
Sorry, I'm
If we add the rest,
Norwegian.
it becomes, I think if we add the rest, it becomes the upheaval of the world, and then there's just the violence if it's Ragnar.
That said, I think it's time for us to wrap up this show.
Sorry, that was a little rough, guys.
Yeah, it was a little rough. It was the first time back, and we're getting
We're
into
doing
swing
some
of
doggy
things.
style. It
We're
was
trying
rough.
to figure out what
Yeah,
we
some
can
stuff.
talk about in strike times. Yeah, we are still in the lull of Star Wars content. But we will be. Rodney, you want to talk about what we're doing for the future?
Yeah, so we'll definitely get ready for Ahsoka. I definitely want to try to maybe do some rewatch of maybe some select Clone Wars episodes and some Rebels episodes, so we can kind of get prepared for it. And then I've got some interviews and some guests lined up. Nothing confirmed yet, but hopefully we can get some of those people in too.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, really, we only have like maybe 2 more shows until the premiere. So we'll be seeing. Yeah.
Right on.
And we'll
Cool.
try to catch up on some of the stuff that we were going to talk about tonight, but we didn't have time.
Yeah, we still haven't.
Yeah,
done anything yet, have we?
they're. I mean, that's the thing. That we've been off for a while. There's been stuff like with the announcement of the new open world Star Wars game, which looks pretty exciting. There has been a lot
Latina
of
lead, by the way.
yes.
A
Double
Latina
O.
lead. Yeah.
There's
makes
been
me
a
so
number of
excited.
announcements in the books, and I think we've all fallen behind, unfortunately. But they're already up to wave 3 for the High Republic now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get back to those. I have catching up to do.
But we got a lot of catching up to do, and we'll definitely be here.
And we haven't
getting
done
there for
visions
that
yet,
stuff.
have we? We
Yeah,
haven't done visions.
Catch up on the visions too.
That's true. We haven't talked about Visions. We haven't talked about the Jedi Adventures,
Oh yeah, that's right.
which
So there's plenty of stuff we can talk about and cover, and we'll
I mean, that's the
try to
thing.
get to it as much as possible.
I've been surprised to hear how much positive talk about it, because it does look very kiddie, but people love the little blue guy,
Oh yeah, the blue Ewok, whatever
the
his name.
little Bebo guy.
Yeah. I'm glad it's getting positive feedback. I imagine it's bringing some younglings in
Yeah,
to the fold.
'cause we need that.
Right, we do, and we need them non-bitter and jaded like the fandom that is. Which of course the fandom, the most exhausting thing when those posters were cut being like advertised online was the literally like 50% of the comments being like, no, order 66. I'm like, guys, know your
It doesn't
timeline.
all have to be for you.
Know your timeline, and you better not be I mean, and although I feel like the Venn diagram of the people making Order 66 jokes who are unaware, willfully ignorant of the timeline, the Venn diagram of those people and the people who are like hating on everything new, it's just basically a circle at this point. And so I'm like, you know, the people who are like, oh, you're not real fans if you like the new stuff. I'm like, but are you a real fan when you don't even know the timeline? So anyway, I'm glad it's getting positive reception and bringing kids into the fandom. We need that.
All right. And with that, that's our show. And we are going to bring on the folks from Geek Bees. There they are.
We keep going up.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
We have Chuck and Johnny.
How do you guys feel about
Hey.
doggy style?
I love
Mastiff
doggy
style.
style.
Mastiff
Who
style.
doesn't love doggy style?
The album, the position, I love everything about it.
Doggy style.
I see you've got an Ahsoka in the background. You're getting geared up.
I am. I'm excited about it. I keep hearing interesting things, but I'm super excited about it. Rebels, like low key, is my favorite Star Wars
Ooh.
series.
Rebel.
You know,
I
Over
love
Clone
Rebels.
Wars?
So.
I think Rebels is better than Clone Wars.
I've been rewatching it. You know, and I don't know if I can say that, but it is much more deep divey than I remember. Or I guess I do remember it being very deep divey, but like just how much they dig, you know, they dig their heels in very
Yeah.
quickly.
And I was not that way the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
Then I rewatched it and I was like, oh my God, what way was this? And I think what it made me hate, well, Clone Wars was canceled because of Rebels, right? Because that was right around the Disney merger, the Disney Lucasfilms merger. And Clone Wars, remember, originally was on Cartoon Network. And there was no way that Disney was going to have one of their properties on the Cartoon Network. That's why we got the abbreviated season on Netflix, because at the time they had the deal. And in my mind, I was thinking, well, if I don't like Rebels, they'll bring back Clone Wars, right? So like I didn't jump forward and watch it, which they ended up bringing Clone Wars back again. But like I watched
Well,
Rebels and I was like, yeah. Then I
so,
rewatched
you know,
it
so-
and I just love it.
So I also have a theory about that, right? So by season 5 of Clone Wars, they were up to over $1 million per animated episode. And you know, say what you will about the animation style, they were investing a lot in that series. They were innovating a lot and you know, when you have George Lucas, who is like invest in the technology, invest in innovation. You know, story be damned sometimes. You know, but I think it really was a cost-cutting measure of them saying, look, you cannot spend $1 million an episode doing these epic giant battle scenes with millions of clones and, you know, Geonosians. And they're like, well, we can't tell the story without that many models, and so they had to pare it down. And then you get to season 1 of Rebels, where all the Imperials look like this.
I will say season 1 wasn't the strongest kickoff, but when they bring Ahsoka back towards the end and season 2, and we have these characters that are familiar, I thought Rebels was just a chef's kiss. It's really one of my favorite Star Wars properties.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was a little slow burn, but it was a good burn.
I mean, I forgot how I was thinking like it didn't pick up until season 2, but in this rewatch, like it picks up like halfway through season 1. It's like, yeah, the first 5 episodes are Space Aladdin, but like once the Inquisitor shows up, it gets interesting. It gets like it digs in.
Sorry. Space Aladdin.
Yeah. I thought it was too Space Aladdin for me. I love Clone Wars. I think nothing's better than Clone Wars. I think Clone Wars establishes the world very, very well and what was going on.
Didn't say it didn't. I agree with you. But
Yeah,
I just like
I think it
Rebels.
did so
I
well.
just like
I think Rebels wasn't there. Like
I
that, like
love Rebels was
scenes in
there.
Rebels. Like when Ahsoka realized who Vader was, that was good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Dark
Uh,
Maul and Obi-Wan fight, that was
I
amazing
thought,
to
I thought
me.
it was cool. It was
The
cool.
important
act-
thing is that
was
you
cool.
guys like Star Wars other than Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. I'm not that guy.
Absolutely.
I'm not that guy.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna tell you what I love Tales of the Jedi. I thought those shorts were amazing.
I thought some
Uh,
of them were. Yeah.
yeah, I thought most of them were. Seeing Mace Windu and Count Dooku kind of having this buddy cop relationship. I thought that was
Yeah.
great.
I loved
Yeah.
seeing his arc. We finally getting a chance to see Dooku's arc of like, all right, well, how did that happen? And
Mm-hmm.
Qui-Gon's death playing a part in that.
Hmm.
The corruption, death of Yaddle. Something that we never asked for, but like we guess
didn't know we
Yeah.
needed it.
we didn't
Yeah.
know we needed.
We
never
needed
asked, but
that
we needed it.
story.
Well,
We
There was
Star
a
Wars
couple of
gives
stories we didn't
Yeah.
need, like solo
Wars-
story.
yeah. The solo story. I
We
forget
didn't need
about it.
that
I
story.
really do. I really do.
I didn't think we needed Rogue One as a story. I like to tell, like, we have some spies snuck in and stole the battle plan. But
Oh,
that's
But are you
I
glad we
love
have
Rogue One.
no. I
Oh
didn't
no!
like
Don't
Rogue
no
One.
no Andy, please don't.
I did not like
Don't,
it.
Chuck,
Because
I
it's
hated it.
see.
breaking my
see.
heart, Chuck.
I
Yeah,
hated
see,
it.
I was-
I hated
No.
it. Oh man, I wanted to burn the theater down.
I wish I could go back in
No.
time right before you asked that question, and so we wouldn't have had this.
Chuck, I thought I liked you.
No, I didn't expect to be this disappointed today.
Oh
but-
man, I was so hurt. I was like, why did we get this story? I didn't need this. The fiction I had in my head was much better than what they showed.
Well, I mean, okay. To be
On
fair,
that note,
in the canon before Rogue One, it was what was his name? Kyle Katarn. Is that right?
I don't know him.
who in the what now? What are you talking about, Andy?
It was
Kyle Katarn.
the official canon story of getting the Death Star plans before
Yeah.
Rogue One was the story from the first person shooter video game. Was it called Dark Forces or
Was it?
I don't
It may
know.
have
Never
been.
played that one.
Yeah, me either.
yeah?
And either yeah.
I mean, it was probably much better than Rogue One. But Rogue One was so bad they had to
I
put
mean,
Vader
it was
in to
it was
save the
basically
movie.
it was basically Wolfenstein, but like Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah.
Wolfenstar.
Not to disappoint you, Tracy.
Wolfenstar.
But I looked at that last scene and I was like, corny. I
mean, we
watched
already-
Vader. I watched Vader and Obi-Wan pull a whole ship out of the sky. And there's the guy running to the front of the door, trying to slide the disc through. You trying to tell me Vader wouldn't have just snapped his fingers and snapped him and the disc back to him? That guy would have been impaled on the lightsaber.
Okay. I disagreed with him until I saw Obi-Wan and he pulled the ship. And then I was like, nah, I'm gonna have to hear Chuck's mouth. Because that's exactly what he said. I was like, oh
Exactly.
God.
Exactly.
This is like 2 years before. That's the exact same thing he
I said that.
And then when
said,
I
I
saw
watched-
Vader do it, I was like, nah, I'm gonna have to
I
hear
saw
him
Vader
forever
having
and
apprentice
forever.
pull a Death Star out of the sky in a video game. I think that Vader could do that, and I kept telling Randy that he could pull a Death Star. He could pull a Star Destroyer out of the sky.
I liked Rogue One. I thought
Until Obi-Wan came along and pulled a starship out the sky.
Obi-Wan was pretty bad though.
Couldn't kill each other. They loved each other. They couldn't kill each other.
It's like Batman and the Joker.
That's what I said. I was like, are they making them Batman and the Joker? Like, do we need this?
Complete. Hey, so what are you guys talking about tonight?
Oh
I don't
man,
know.
we have.
Chuck, what are we talking about?
Oh, we got good. We got some news. We got some interesting news. We're talking about Steve stole $300,000 worth of gaming trading cards out of Gen Con.
Oh
How
shoot!
they pull that heist. And Marvel visual effects artists want to start a union.
Yeah.
As they should.
Wow, that's
Good for
going
them.
to
As they should.
That
they
would be
do that.
interesting.
They're treated like
change
crap.
everything.
Well,
It's
I
gonna
mean,
change
and if
everything.
they are successful, like what precedent
Mhm.
does that create for the rest of the industry? Because that's been the problem, is that it's so freelance
Mm-hmm.
that-
Marvel, yeah. Go ahead.
but
It changes
Marvel
the
is a
industry.
big enough operation that you could pull a union card on that.
Yeah, I know a Warner Brothers animator who's dealing with similar.
Yeah, they're terrible with
right
how they
now.
do
They're
it.
not.
Yeah.
They're not treated well.
Now there
Yeah.
is a union for animators though, correct? Or am I wrong?
No, I don't think there is
I
anymore.
didn't
There's
think there
not.
was.
I don't think there is one.
Because I know when David Kassenberg used to run Disney, he said, if you're not willing to come in on Saturday and work 12 hours, don't come in on Sunday.
Yeah.
No, come in on Sunday.
Monday.
On Sunday.
No, if you're not willing to come in Saturday, don't come in on Sunday.
She
That's
said,
meaning
I'm working you 7
days a week.
I'm working you 7 days a week. That
Yeah.
sounds
If you don't
horrible.
come on Saturday, don't
Well,
come
in the
in
gaming industry,
Sunday.
we go through crunch. We had crunch the same way. I remember we had 8 hours on Saturday and 10 hours, or 4 to 10 hours on Sunday.
Al says he
That's
knows
right.
the guy who stole the $4.5 billion.
I
Oh,
wouldn't.
wait, is that Al Aboud?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was talking about that.
He
He should be on your
mentioned that.
show.
Should be.
I don't know anybody who stole nothing. I
Yeah.
am not turning myself in.
We're talking about Zoom reverses policy on AI, and going through customer data. That's interesting.
Wait, sorry. That's Zoom, right?
Yes, Zoom.
Yes. So
Zoom.
we are all training AI right now.
We definitely are. We definitely are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be interesting. There's a lot of
It's gonna be
interesting
like-
things going on right now in the world.
Yeah.
The
What
world.
was that? What was that Black Mirror episode? Joan is awful. It's gonna be like Andy
Yes.
is awful, Tracy is awful, Lexi is awful, is awful.
Yeah.
Jeremy's awful. It's gonna be just like everything.
All right. Well, if you want to listen on those topics and more, stick around
Yeah.
for Geek Beast. They're coming right up. We are the Pod Squadron. Next week we'll be back talking more stuff and getting to some of the topics that we did not get to tonight. We also want to see all of your Star Wars creations. Do you cosplay? Do you make fan films? Build droids? Build models? Sell stuff at Etsy? Show us how Star Wars has inspired you, and we just might feature you on the show. Thank you for joining us here on the Geekish Network. Please follow the Geekish Network on YouTube and Facebook, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for joining us here every Monday night, and check out all the other shows. Check the schedules for all of the other shows that are happening. And thanks on the flight deck to Rodney. We are the Pod Squadron. Please check out our content on podsquadron.com. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and I guess Threads. For podcast subscriptions, you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. I am the Chinese Pirate at Chinese Pirate on all platforms.
I am Tracy, the hot nerd girl, on all the things. I don't know. I don't even know what I am anymore. We're
Other
good.
things.
Fail Geek Aesthetic on Instagram. I never knew what I was. I'm still trying to figure it out. Maybe I will at some point.
And of course, Rodney's on the flight deck over there. All wings return to base. Course laid in and prepared to make the jump to light speed on my mark. And remember, the truths we cling to depend on our own point of view. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Good night.
Woo!
Oh, this is the result.